I never thought much about clothes until that Tuesday in September when everything changed. The rain was coming down hard outside the apartment I shared with 2 other guys from the university. I was sitting on my bed studying for a chemistry exam when Ethan knocked on my door. He was holding a beer and grinning in that way that usually meant trouble. Behind him stood Jessica and Emily from the apartment downstairs. They were both soaked from the rain and laughing about something I had missed. "Shane, we need to talk to you about something," Jessica said. I put down my textbook and looked at them. Jessica had this energy about her that made people listen. Emily was quieter, but when she smiled, her whole face changed. They came into my room without waiting for an invitation and sat on the edge of my bed like they owned the place. "There's a costume party Friday night at the Delta House," Jessica said. "Big theme party. Everyone has to come as something they're not." I nodded and waited. I still didn't know why they were in my room. "We think you should go as a woman," Emily said softly. The words hung in the air for a moment. I felt my face get hot. Ethan was still grinning in the doorway. I looked at Jessica and then at Emily and tried to figure out if this was a joke. "Why would I do that?" I asked. "Because you'd be amazing at it," Jessica said. "You have the right face for it. Good bone structure. Not too much bulk. We could make you look incredible." "It's just for fun," Emily added. "Don't you want to win the costume contest? The prize is $200. I thought about my bank account. I thought about how I'd been eating ramen noodles for 3 weeks straight. $200 would help. But still, dressing as a woman felt like crossing some line I couldn't see but knew was there. "I don't know," I said. "Come on, Shane," Ethan said from the doorway. "Live a little. What's the worst that could happen?" That was the question that got me. What was the worst that could happen? I would look stupid. People would laugh. But people laughed all the time at costume parties. That was the point. And something about the way Jessica was looking at me made me curious. She seemed so sure it would work. "Okay," I said. "But just for the party." Jessica clapped her hands together. Emily smiled that smile again. Ethan shook his head and walked away muttering something about me being braver than he thought. "We start tomorrow," Jessica said. "Come to our place after your last class." They left and I sat there on my bed listening to the rain and wondering what I had just agreed to. I tried to go back to studying, but the words on the page didn't make sense anymore. My mind kept going to Friday night and what I would look like. Would people recognize me? Would they laugh? Would I look like a man in a dress, or would I actually look like a woman? I didn't sleep well that night. The next day dragged on forever. I sat through biology and calculus and English composition without hearing anything the professor said. When my last class ended, I walked slowly to Jessica and Emily's apartment. My hands were shaking a little when I knocked on their door. Emily opened it. She was wearing sweatpants and a tank top and her hair was pulled back. She smiled when she saw me and pulled me inside. "Don't look so scared," she said. "We're just going to take some measurements today and talk about what you'll wear." Jessica was sitting on the couch with a notebook. She patted the cushion next to her and I sat down. The apartment smelled like vanilla candles and coffee. It was warmer than my place and had more furniture that actually matched. "First thing," Jessica said, "we need to deal with body hair." I looked down at my arms. I had never thought much about the dark hair that covered them. It was just there. Part of being a guy. "I'm not shaving my arms," I said. "Not permanently," Emily said. "We'll use hair removal cream. It grows back in a few weeks. But if you want to look convincing, you need smooth skin. Women don't have arm hair like that." I thought about it. A few weeks wasn't forever. And I had already said yes to this whole thing. Backing out now over some arm hair seemed stupid. "Fine," I said. Jessica handed me a bottle of cream and some instructions. "Do your legs too. And your chest. Everywhere except your face, obviously. Do it tonight and tomorrow we'll start on the actual outfit." I took the bottle and went home. That night I stood in my tiny bathroom and read the instructions 3 times. The cream smelled chemical and sharp. I spread it on my legs first and waited the 10 minutes it said to wait. When I wiped it off with a washcloth, the hair came off with it. My legs looked strange and pale and smooth like they belonged to someone else. I did my arms next, then my chest and stomach. By the time I was done, I felt cold even though the apartment was warm. I looked at myself in the mirror and barely recognized my own body. Without the hair, I looked younger. I put on sweatpants and a long-sleeve shirt and got into bed, but I couldn't stop thinking about how different my skin felt against the sheets. Everything was smoother, more sensitive. I ran my hand down my arm and felt a small shiver go through me that I didn't understand. The next day after classes, I went back to their apartment. This time Jessica had clothes laid out on the bed. A black skirt that looked short. A pink top that had no sleeves. Tights that were so thin I could see through them. And underwear. Women's underwear. Lacy and pink, and definitely not mine. Everything's my size, so it should fit you, Jessica said. We're about the same height. Start with this, Emily said. She handed me something that looked like a wide piece of medical tape. It's for tucking. You need to tape yourself back so there's no bulge in the skirt. My face went hot again. I hadn't thought about that part. Emily must have seen my expression because she laughed softly. Don't worry. We'll wait outside while you do it. Just pull everything back and tape it tight. It'll be uncomfortable at first, but you'll get used to it. They left the room and I stood there holding the tape and looking at the pile of women's clothes. This was really happening. I was really going to do this. I took off my jeans and boxers and figured out how to use the tape. Emily was right. It was uncomfortable. But when I looked down, everything was flat and smooth. I put on the panties first. They were soft and fit tighter than any underwear I had ever worn. Then the padded bra, which Jessica had left instructions for. Hook in front, then spin it around, then put your arms through. It felt strange having something wrapped around my chest. The padding gave me the shape of small breasts. The tights were harder. I ripped the first pair, trying to pull them on too fast. Emily came in when she heard me swear and helped me with the second pair. Her hands were gentle as she showed me how to gather the material and roll it up my legs slowly. That's as much as I can share with you right now, but the rest of the story is waiting. If you'd like the full uncensored version, the book is available on Amazon. You'll find the link in the description and pinned comment. Catch you in the full story.